Hi, I'm Margaux. I will talk to you a bit about my journey to become a business analyst. So, years ago, I was studying biology, and at the time, a lot of my friends were studying computer science. So, I was hearing a lot of their conversations, and unfortunately, I couldn't understand most of it. So, this got me very intrigued, and I decided to pick up a Python course, which I really enjoyed. So, a couple of years later, I still got the urge to actually be more into tech, and I decided that I wanted to change my careers. So then I became in quite a bit of a difficult position because I had to figure out, well, if I want to change paths, how do I get myself into tech? So I was thinking about maybe doing a course, like get a degree, or maybe I could learn and getting a job and then learning on the roll. So fortunately, at that time, I met somebody who talked to me about the data hackathon. So I went to the event. I was very nervous because I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And it was 2 days, and I got to work with a lot of great and amazing people. So this was my first experience working with people in tech. To my surprise, I found out that that there were a lot more roles involved than just software engineers. So I learned about the engineers, scientists, and a lot more roles. This got me very excited. And after this event, and because of the networking, I got myself an interview for a data graduate role. And I can say that I was pleased when I got the role and I was starting to work at a company. This role allowed me to actually spend time with a lot of different teams. I was learning a lot more about the different team profiles and all the roles and responsibilities that were part of a team. So after having a lot of conversations with a lot of different people, I decided that the business analyst role was for me because I decided this based on the soft skills and my interest. I also realized I do like programming, but I couldn't see myself doing it every day of the week. So I decided to go for the BA role because it's working closely with the technical team and then also with clients. I also find that I actually have a big interest in big data projects. I like to learn more around data pipelines and data analysis. So now I'll talk to you a little bit about my project experience. So what happened after I started as a graduate? Well, the first project I was on was a large complex data project. It was around a lot of big data sets from marine systems and about building a new architecture solution. I have to say, I was quite overwhelmed in this project about all the new things I need to learn. I had to learn around Agile, about data pipelines, all the different BA responsibilities. As I was the second BA on this project, this put me more like a supporting and observing role. So in the beginning, I was observing a lot the other BA, and he was also, because there were so many things I need to learn, it was also taking the time even after work and in the weekends to explain things that were happening on the team. This would always put me in a position where I could actually be a valuable asset and help where I could. So after this roller coaster of a project, which I absolutely loved, I went onto a project that was already existing for quite a while. At the start of the project, I did make sure that I was supported by a mentor. My mentor was was a senior BA within the same company as I. So this was very good because whenever I had any questions or doubts, I could always reach out to my mentor. This was good because I was a sole BA on this existing project. So because the project had already been going on for quite a while, the team had been working together closely. They were setting their ways. They had the processes defined. So for me, my workload was actually pretty straightforward. It was also limited in the responsibilities that I had, so it was really a good opportunity for me to focus. So a lot of things I was involved in was backlog refinement, managing the Scrum board, sprint ceremonies, stakeholder management. A lot of the time when I was in a situation where I was in doubt, or I did take the time to look back on it and reflect and talk to my mentor about it. And either he was saying that I did the right thing, which boosted my confidence, or maybe giving me some advice for next time. So this was very good for me, like second project. After that, I've been like the sole BA on the start of new projects, which I've done now multiple times. Every time I have been supported by BA community. By that, I mean, for the previous company I worked for and this one, there are more, we have a lot of BAs. So there's always people to ask questions and help you and think about new techniques or help you with any problems. So when you go onto a new project, it's usually very fast-paced, a lot of uncertainties, risks that need to be raised, new teams working together, sometimes difficulties around identifying the vision and the scope. So a lot of techniques are being used. So things I learned then is process mapping, the ways of working canvas, roles and responsibility sessions, story mapping, assumption mapping, and so on. I found that having these kind of different steps within increasing responsibility was a really good learning curve. If I would have skipped the second part and go from supporting, observing role into the start of a new project, I think I would have been overwhelmed, probably followed by a lot of unpleasant situations, and maybe might have mean that I would have quit my job while I actually love being a BA. So I think this gradual increase of responsibility and project experience is really good. So then whenever I think about the next things I want to learn, like in the next 6 months, in the next year, I find it very hard to answer the question. Because do I want to learn something new? Do I want to improve something that I'm already doing? So I try to have a good balance between experimenting with new things, but also improving the skills I already have. So I follow this kind of strategy. I will talk to you through an example. So one of the things we usually do within the team is it's within a certain time frame is doing a retrospective. This could be every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, could be at the end of a sprint. And the retrospective is when the team sits together, talks about the past 2 weeks on the project, and one of the most standard formats is when you just stop, start, and continue. So the stop is when you agree the things you want to stop doing as a team, start the things you should start be doing as a team, continue are the things you should keep doing as a team because they're working really well. So in the beginning, I observed this kind of retro multiple times. Then I was supporting the BA with facilitating a retro. Then when I was on the project as a sole BA, that's when I started doing the retros myself. After doing a retro multiple times, I was looking back at it and thinking, well, are there ways that we can improve this? So over time, I've done a lot of research on retros, and I want to show you an example of a retro I've done, I think about a month ago. So this is called a pie retro. I got the idea from fun retrospectives. So what I did was I took the example and I added a couple of extra slices. So if you look at this retro, you can see I divided it in 6 parts. Every part is a flavor, and every flavor represents something else. So things I added, for example, this pie is the home pie. So I added this section that allows people to talk about any struggles they have working from home. Then the cutie pie is where people can talk about nominations for someone because maybe they were very helpful during these past 2 weeks. So I think by adapting techniques and trying to make them better and changing wording dimensions, it's very valuable because the team can come up with new things. It keeps people interested. I think especially in these difficult times, adding more of a personal factor to it is very good. Also, everybody's a lot of us are working remotely, and I think this is a very good way to bond. So another thing, for example, retro I did this week was talking about stress containers. So a couple of weeks ago, I followed a mental health first aiders course, and this is where we talked about stress containers. So in the retro I did, I gave every team member a stress container, and they had to draw a line to show how full the container was, or the bucket that showed how stressed they are. And then you had to fill in to the bucket what makes them feel stressed. This could have been personal, like things about working from home around the lockdown. It could be around the project. And then also they had to write down their coping mechanisms. We had people could talk about theirs if they wanted to. So it was very useful because people felt like they were listened to. As a team, we could bond more around personal matters. You get the feeling you're not alone. So what I want to show by this is by actually improving the skills you have, it can be very valuable for the team. Another thing that I also use for the learning strategy is, for example, public speaking. I love public speaking, but every time I sign up to a talk, I instantly regret it. I get very stressed. But then once I've done the talk, I'm actually really glad, I'm proud, and I would do it again. So I keep wanting to improve myself to just make myself more comfortable. So these are a couple of things to illustrate you the learning strategy. Then apart from the learning strategy, another couple of things that have supported my professional development is, of course, online courses and books. So online courses I did was, so on Coursera, I did a machine learning course, then on Udemy, a course on Python and Plotly. And then currently I'm doing a user story course by Mountain Goat Software. And then as in books, there's plenty, actually, there's a lot of books that I've read. The valuable story I think I learned from it is that in the beginning, when I just started, I've read so many, and actually a lot of it I forgot simply because I couldn't really put it into any context. So I find it a lot more useful to learn books as we go. So either start reading a book about a technique that I'm currently applying or seeing being used on a project, or sometimes when I'm on downtime, taking a book and read more about the things that happened on a project. So it puts more context and also makes it easier to explain why you're doing doing certain things to other people. And it also helps to think about the improvements. Another aspect is learning by doing. So apart from learning on the job and I learned from mentors, as I've mentioned, but also I've done communities of practice. So this means having all BAs within a company sitting together, spending an afternoon, a whole day, or just a couple of hours together. And here we would share project experiences or new techniques we've applied, which has been very useful and very insightful. Then another one I want to talk about is the upskilling mob. So the upskilling mob is an initiative that we just started at the company I'm working for. So we have 3 teams of around 5 people each. And each team has its own focus. So one team of my colleagues is focusing on participating in a Kaggle competition. Another team is looking into data pipelines, and a team I'm part of, we want to do data exploration on open data feeds. We allow this initiative is actually for us to be able to upskilling in data. What I find amazing is that it allows you to just work closely together with your colleagues, getting to know them better, working on something you share. And then the goal is to also share this with the wider company by doing show and tells. Of course, we're also involving the people that already have this expertise that we can draw from. Then the last bit I want to touch on is some of the challenges I've experienced and the coping mechanisms. So I think one of the biggest challenge I found so far is tech jargon. So I think I've been struggling with this for almost 4 years now. It's still a problem today. So in the beginning, I was getting quite stressed about it, and sometimes I felt like I just want to ignore a term, but then I realized it just keeps coming up. So rather than ignoring things that I don't understand, I very quickly took the approach to either ask questions during a meeting or a conversation, or talk to somebody after and really spend the time to learn more about it. This was very good because it's not like I wanted to get into the nitty-gritty detail. It's more like knowing enough to have important conversations and missing things being said. Then also over time, I've been implementing new techniques and experimenting. Usually this always makes me very nervous because I'm not sure if it's going to be appreciated, if it's going to be successful. But I try to do it anyway. And then after these meetings, I usually ask for feedback. And also, and sometimes people then give like small feedback, and you can do like tweaks, or you can use the things you've done in the different scenarios. And I think over time, I really accepted that it's okay and felt comfortable with being uncomfortable. So it's okay to be nervous. It's okay not to be comfortable. Experimenting and doing new things is very good. Then another challenge was dealing with unknowns. Sometimes you get questions, big questions, and you have no idea sometimes what people are talking about or what the answer to the question is. So in the beginning, I would get really stressed. Now I actually try to just involve the right people into conversation. This could lead to a bigger meeting. If even with talking to more people, we still don't get the right answer, then we plan how we're going to approach this. And this really helps. And then the last challenge, multitasking. This is very personal, I think, to everyone. I've learned that I like to prioritize my to-do list on a daily basis. I found that if I try to do it less frequently, I might not be working on the most important thing. If I try to prioritize it multiple times a day, then it's very hard to stay focused and simply get anything done. So finding the right frequency for you to optimize your multitasking, I think, is very important. This was my presentation. I hope you find it insightful. If you have any questions, let me know on LinkedIn. And thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.